You've been there, right? Someone hurts you, and instead of a simple "I'm sorry," you get excuses, deflections, or maybe somehow it ends up being your fault. So let's get right into it. We're going to break down the real psychology behind why some people just can't bring themselves to apologize.
Boom! Just like that, your feelings? Invalid. You're just being dramatic. Or this one. Suddenly the thing that hurts you is completely minimized. It makes you feel like you're the one who's out of line. And here it is, the final knockout punch. The blame gets flipped right back onto you. It's a classic counterattack, and it is infuriating. So what is going on here? I mean, why is this so hard for some people? Well, it's not just stubbornness, no. There are some really deep psychological reasons at play. Let's break them down one by one. All right, first up, power, ego, and weakness. For a certain type of person, saying sorry isn't about healing a wound, it's about losing a fight. It all comes down to something called ego protection. For them, an apology literally feels like weakness. It's a loss of power. See, their entire self-image is built on this foundation of being right, of being in control. So when you ask for an apology, it's not a request, it's a threat to their whole identity, and their ego just won't stand for it. Okay, let's get real. Picture a boss who's way too harsh on you in a meeting. Instead of saying, "Hey, I was out of line," they spin it. They say, "You need to toughen up." Why? Because admitting they were wrong would make them look weak in front of everyone. They're choosing to protect their power over respecting your feelings. So, I gotta ask, do you know someone like that? Someone who treats every single conversation like it's a competition they have to win? If you do, you're dealing with a person whose ego is always on the defensive. For them, admitting they're wrong, well, that's not just an apology, it's a complete surrender. But it's not just about ego and power games. It actually gets even deeper. We're talking about the brain's own built-in defense system, a system that can literally rewrite reality to avoid pain. Okay, check this out. There are three big ones you'll see all the time. First, you've got denial. That never happened. Poof, reality is gone. Then there's rationalization. Well, I only did that because you, which is just a fancy way of making excuses. And finally, the really sneaky one, projection. You know, you're the one who's always causing problems. They're basically taking their own issues and pinning them on you. These aren't logical thoughts, they're automatic, subconscious shields. You see this in families all the time, right? A parent says something really hurtful and then immediately follows it up with, "Well, you just stress me out so much." That's pure rationalization. They're not owning their words, they're blaming you for them. It's the brain finding a clever little loophole to escape feeling guilty. It just goes to show you, the mind will bend over backwards to avoid pain. So, what are all these defense mechanisms protecting? Well, often it's covering up something way deeper and way more painful. Toxic shame. And let me be clear, this is not the same thing as guilt. Not even close. Here's the difference, and it's absolutely crucial. Guilt is feeling bad about something you did. I made a mistake. But toxic shame, that's the feeling that you, at your core, are bad. I am a mistake. So for someone carrying that around, admitting they were wrong doesn't just feel bad, it confirms their deepest fear about themselves. It's a feeling of complete worthlessness, and they will do anything to avoid it. And this is how it plays out in a relationship. Your partner does something wrong. You try to talk about it, and suddenly it's not about what they did anymore. Now it's about how you're too demanding, or how nothing is ever good enough for you. See what happened? They deflected. They turned their mistake into a problem with your character. It's a masterclass in making you feel guilty for being hurt. So let's be honest. Has this ever happened to you?
you're the one who got hurt, but somehow you're the one who ends up saying sorry? If you've been there, you know how confusing and manipulative it feels. Because what you have to understand is, they aren't just dodging an apology. They're running from a crushing feeling that they are fundamentally bad.
So where does a deep-seated feeling like that even come from? Well, you often have to look back, way back. We're talking about lessons learned in childhood. Think about it. If you grew up in a house where your parents never admitted they were wrong, what does that teach you? It teaches you that mistakes are dangerous, that saying sorry leads to punishment or rejection, that being vulnerable is unsafe. That lesson gets hardwired into your brain, and as an adult, that feeling of danger is still there. Every time an apology is needed, it feels like walking through a minefield.
Okay, our final point, and this one is about a fundamental emotional disconnect. We're talking about empathy, or more specifically, the lack of it.
It's pretty straightforward, really. If someone genuinely cannot put themselves in your shoes, if they can't feel what you're feeling, then why would they apologize? From their point of view, there's nothing to apologize for. The need for it just doesn't compute. And in more extreme cases, like with narcissistic traits, their sense of superiority makes it basically impossible for them to even consider they could be wrong.
Here's a perfect example. A friend bails on plans at the last minute, and when you say you're disappointed, they hit you with, "Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" They don't get it. For them, it was just a change of plans. For you, it felt disrespectful. Because they can't connect with your feeling of being let down, they just dismiss it as drama.
So ask yourself this about the person you have in mind. When they do apologize, does it feel real? Or does it only happen when they need something from you? Because often, an apology from someone with low empathy isn't about remorse. It's about strategy. It's a tool to get what they want. The emotional wiring for a genuine apology just isn't there. So, okay, we've broken down all the whys. But understanding it doesn't just magically make the hurt go away. Because their silence, their refusal to say sorry, that sends a very powerful and very painful message.
This is what you're left with. The unspoken message is loud and clear. Your feelings don't matter, your pain isn't real, and you are not worth the effort of an apology. That's what does the real damage. It's not even the original mistake anymore. It's the refusal to fix it. It's what cracks the very foundation of trust in a relationship.
So if there is one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Their inability to say, "I'm sorry," says everything about their emotional baggage, their ego, their shame, their childhood. It says absolutely nothing about your worth. It was never a reflection of you. And that is so important to remember.